AskReddit by Creeperash07. What are some really dark concepts in kids shows that were presented as light and trivial? In Hey Arnold, Helga's mom was played as being aloof for laughs, but was all but stated to be an alcoholic, complete with needing her smoothies and being sleepy and tired all the time instead of saying she's hungover. And there was a bit where Helga said that her mom had gotten a job, I forget the specifics, and Arnold was like, wow, that's great. Did she get her license back? It wasn't a show, but I found it crazy how they made an animated kids movie about Anastasia Romanoff. Like the real Anastasia was shot to death along with her whole family in a basement, and then a crazy woman pretends to be her and claims that she somehow escaped the murder of her family. Also, Rasputin was strongly implied to be in hell and is literally a decomposing corpse. In Rugrats, Chucky's mom passed away not long after he was born. There's a whole Mother's Day episode where Chaz decides Chucky is ready to start talking about what happened, and they read a letter from his mom together. Edit: I misremembered them specifically saying it was cancer, it's just described as her having an illness of some kind. Okay, I tried to show Rugrats to my 3-year-old the other day. Want to watch a cartoon Daddy used to watch when I was a kid, and I cannot believe how grown up it is. It felt like 80% of the episode was targeted at parents. And not in a subtle way like how Bluey sometimes is. In like a directo, the main conflict of this episode is the parents navigating how to potty train their son way. Fraggle Rock. The first episode openly discusses the inevitability of death. Absolutely insane going back and watching it as an adult. So much of Fraggle Rock was really heavy. I'm still loving watching it with my kid, but I've definitely cried through some episodes, too. The Rescue was a really depressing and messed up kids move. Sits nicely alongside An American Tail, which is like a Fiddler on the Roof crossed with the Grapes of Wrath, but with mice. Someone else mentioned Hunchback, but I really want to double down on it. There's a whole family with little kids who are locked into a mill and then it's set on fire. Luckily the blonde guy goes rogue to let them out. The priest sings this song about his dark desire to bang Esmeralda. I am deformed, I am ugly, and these are crimes for which the world shows little pity. I can't imagine how they thought adding dingbat talking statues would make this a children's movie. I just love the music, though. Hellfire is such a banger song and it always haunted me as a kid but didn't know why. Like yeah, it's a typical Disney evil guy monologue song, but felt like there was something I wasn't getting. As an adult I listened again and paid attention to the lyrics and it all clicked. God Save the Outcasts shows how holy and religious people ask for things that are not very holy or religious or just that stray from the point of Christianity, while Esmeralda, who is not even a believer, understands the message of God better than any of the people at church because she's actually in need of hope and faith. I think it was beautifully presented in a way kids could understand the message. Not everyone who claims to be godly is good. SpongeBob's Rock Bottom episode was basically a lesson in existential dread for kids. The bus never comes, and you're stuck in a weird place forever. Childhood innocence meets silent terror. Same thing with that one Squidward being alone episode, unlocked a new kind of fear in me as a kid. I got hit in the parenting feels recently when watching the new Chicken Run movie while another hen is being killed and processed in a nugget machine. Ginger puts her hands over her daughter's ears and tells her look at me and don't look away to keep her from seeing or hearing it. Till the new Chicken Run movie exists. The entirety of Hey Arnold. Everyone focuses on Helga's home life, but honestly, none of those kids were fully okay. Like, they address that Torvald is 14 in the 4th grade, sure, but Harold is 13 in the 4th grade and no one addresses it. All the 9-year-olds show up to his bar mitzvah like it's standard and he just gets a job like that's normal. Stoop Kid doesn't go to school at all, he just lives outside. The city is full of mentally unstable adults who act like superheroes, gangsters, etc. and who are close personal friends, or sometimes beefing with some kid. At least 3 ghosts are confirmed real. And everyone is so codependent of Arnold. Like they rely so heavily on him for support and moral guidance and he's just a child. There's an episode where he just gives up and doesn't help anyone for a day and everyone is like, what do we do? All of Danny Phantom. The main character is a half-dead 14-year whose power is to die on command. His parents don't know he's half-dead because he's scared of them ripping him apart, molecule by molecule, which is a direct quote said by the parents about his ghost half that is said in the show. His arch-nemesis is a 40-something-year who is also the only other one like him. Both the main character and his arch-nemesis were half killed by the parents' stupidity with their ghost portal invention. I could go on. Had a rockin' intro though. You know, thinking back on shows like Courage the Cowardly Dog, I didn't realize as a kid how dark some of the episodes were. The weird settings and creepy villains seemed fun back then, but now I can see the deeper themes they were tackling. It's funny how our perspective changes as we grow up. Watching the episode with the cat with the masks who has to save her friend from abusive gang members hits different as an adult. In Beethoven, the one about the dog, the villain is persistently trying to kidnap Beethoven from his family so that he can perform harmful medical tests on him. I fucking love these comments. I haven't seen this movie since I was a kid when it came out, and would occasionally remember these plot points and wonder if I was right for it feeling weird. Late to the party, but I always think about how the Sesame Street team handled 9/11. They tried their best to reassure their viewers and prepare them for an emergency, but it's still pretty dark. Interview with Louis Bernstein here. https://yahoo.be/nuvhtea7q8?SIGARFE8RKIOI-8PAP9 Sesame Street is such an incredible show in the way that they handle hard topics in really relatable ways for children. Rugrats. In No More Cookies, Angelica gets sick after eating too many cookies and orders the babies that next time they prevent her from eating even one cookie. But when Angelica gets better she gets desperate for cookies. The way it's played, it comes across as a drug addict trying to go clean after an OD. In Mother's Day someone already mentioned Melinda Finster's untimely passing, but there's also Tommy's first memory when he was in a fishbowl while his mom held his hand. The fishbowl was an incubator, and it's all but said that Tommy was born premature, which explains why Dee Dee was always so concerned about her child care skills, and why Stu nicknamed Tommy Champ. Did you ever see the Rugrats movie where Tommy's little brother is born? That scene where Tommy pours peanut butter on him to give him to the monkeys scarred me as a kid. Actually, it still affects me now just thinking about it. How about in Hey Arnold when Mr. Hyan shares his story of giving his daughter away to Americans leaving Vietnam so she wouldn't have to grow up there, and his moving to the city to try to find her again. That's pretty heavy for a kids show, let alone a Christmas episode. Not a show, but the Animorphs book series, that I read in 5th grade, was largely about child soldiers and how they quickly lose their innocence after engaging in guerrilla warfare against enemy occupation. Then there's all the body horror and enslavement stuff. Edit. I am aware of the Nickelodeon show. It doesn't capture the same sense of fucked up headness as the books. Yeah, Animorphs is fucking hardcore. Gravity Falls is full of this. Old man Mick Gurkett losing his memories is one big example. Played for silliness and laughs, but it's actually a man so traumatized by his past he decides to delete his own memories because he can't cope with what is clearly PTSD. If I remember correctly, a bunch of tiny adult men tried to make a 12-year-old girl their collective bride. Series like early Yu-Gi-Oh! Or the Batman animated series, who upon being told they weren't allowed to explicitly kill anyone, said bet and made up something worse. I'll send you to the Shadow Realm over a children's card game. Thomas the Tank Engine. Apart from the whole concept of these sentient trains etc being used for labor and the way any train not being a happy obedient worker gets its comeuppance at the end of the episode, the train graveyards always really get to me, the places where they have piles of dead rolled engines just sitting there. The way Sir Topham Hatt constantly threatens to send them to the smelters is grim AF. So I'm stoned and not sure if I can word or explain this correctly, lol, but Kung Fu Panda, specifically the second one. The main villain commits mass genocide against pandas. Po's mom ran away with him but were being hunted, so she hides him in a crate of vegetables and sacrifices herself by leading the wolves away from Po, obviously implying they kill her. I wouldn't say they made it seem particularly light, but I do think it's a little too heavy to be in a kids movie. Or maybe just me. Invader Zim Dark Harvest episode. Most of Invader Zim, to be frank. Just about every Disney movie is about parental abandonment. Fairy tales are about that, and Disney rips off fairy tales. At least for its princess movies. Murdering a health inspector. To be fair, he didn't actually get murdered. Abusive parents. Sam's mom from iCarly neglected Sam. Freddy's mom from iCarly, overprotective to where she gave him tick baths, where from speculation she is checking her naked teenage son's body for ticks. Tori and Trina Vega's parents from Victorious, they hatted Trina and neglected both their kids a lot. These are the few I can think of, but the amount of abuse and trauma they put onto their kids and how it was all just a funny joke is so messed up. Sam's mom was abusive viral too. I'm glad my mom died is a great read. The fat controller who runs the railway on the island of Sodor. Every day there are trains crashing into buildings, running off their tracks, making uncontrolled movements, brakes failing. He is a menace to society and should be in prison for his neglect of the railroad. Didn't they once permanently brick a train into a shed for misbehaving?